So we're going to finish the cyanotype project. Do you still remember? So for your task, you can think about whether you want to do your work 3D like this one, like a guitar, or you want to do something like a 2D like this. But if you look closer, these ones actually they put some cartoons in it, so it's semi 3D. Okay, so kind of 2D and 3D together. And this one is purely 2D and 2D. But if you, let's zoom closer to it. For example, if you look at the guitar, all right, you'll be able to find something looks very familiar. Can you find it out? Yay! What do I find? I found a pair of scissors. You're right. So the person who designed this is very smart. She wants to use this shape. It's kind of like the curve from the, I think from the violin. This is a violin, and it's kind of look like the shape that she find in the violin. So she replaced it with scissors. So you can put, if you like, you can put some objects so that you can block the light. Then it leaves the imprint of it. Okay. And the nice thing is that's because the light somehow will penetrating it. So the part is thicker. You will see this. You have a whiter area, and the area which is kind of not as thick, the light maybe penetrate from the sideward, so you can still see a very light indentations of it. Understand? But if you find this part is so lovely, so delicate, actually, this is this would be a picture of her own musical instruments. Okay, so that would become a piece of transparency, and then you're going to put on top of the paper. But of course you will find, whoa, why she have these kind of shapes very lovely, like all these white space? What is it? Because the person, when she designing this, actually when she start to paint the solvent, she paint the solvent in these shapes. So she leave this part as white. That's why there is nothing happening, because once you put the solvent, it become the part that react to the lights, right? The part you didn't put the solvent will just leave it at it was. So that's something nice about it. So can you remember what's that? Yay! She even bring back her own dream catcher from her home. Then she just simply put on top of it, and you got some key and other images, right? So think about it, okay? Although I told you, everyone, you have two pieces of transparency like this, but that is only applied to if you have photos, or if you want to use to remember your calligraphy last semester, you can definitely use this one in it, okay? And don't forget, actually you can find lots of many find objects that have to talk about your story a little bit more. Now I want you to look at this one, okay? So this one, you find that, wow, this lady was, why she have typography, but the type itself doesn't look like the calligraphy that we have. Is very rough. It's kind of like a calligraphy style. What happened in here? And if you look in here, this one, you will find that the design of this one is the Russian door, right? And then, oh, actually she draw all these here, and then she put these pictures of her friends and families on the side panel. If you look at it, it's kind of like that. Those are the friends and family that she has, and this is herself. So how is she gonna do this? Actually, if you want to add some calligraphy, like handwriting, like this one here, even though the clock faces on this side like that, these letters, right? And also maybe draw like this. What you need is actually a piece of transparency, and this transparency is extra because it's not for printing. I'm gonna give you extra transparency if you need it. So what we're gonna do is today I'm gonna show you all the steps that you need to for it. So first of all, to protecting yourself, please wear the glove, okay? Because the solvent, it will kind of it's hard to remove, and of course wear an apron to protecting yourself. And now I'm shooting the video because here it's very spacious, so I don't need to wear a mask, but of course you have to. Okay, so read it properly, and then have everything ready in your hand. So if you have submitted your photos to me, is already printed out in transparency. In this case, I didn't use photos for mine. I just used the calligraphy, right? So I still print them out. And then as I told you, I have some more handwritings, or maybe if I want some images, then I just draw in here. So I'll give you extra transparency when you're back to school. But make sure you give me the images you want to transfer to it in this week, so that I have enough time for you to help you to print them in transparency, all right? So what do I use to write? Okay, basically, actually, I used to write it with the black marker, okay, and the oil-based one. Don't use the water-soluble one because it will wash away. You write it, leave it dry for a second. You can draw pictures in it, just like the one that I showed you. This one here, I draw on it in this transparency. So the person, she have a very big transparency. I have huge. Then she just draw on it. All the white line is actually the marking that she draw on the transparency. Okay, so you have your things ready. I have my typography, the one that you don't, and then the transparency, and I also have something else. I rather use, this is kind of like fun objects that I find at my place. Of course, you can, if you find any other of these shapes is interesting, you can bring it back, okay, just like the one here we have with the very nice dream catcher. So you bring them all back when you come back home, come back to school. Now, for the procedure, okay, you have to put a piece of papers in it as absorbent materials, or maybe newspaper. Okay, so I'm going to provide you some newspaper if you have. If don't, then bring your own. Okay, and then we put them on top, put the piece of cloth on top. Think about the layout. Now I want to put the typography in kind of in the middle. Okay, last time when we do the typography, we do it kind of like a reverse, remember? But this time you just do it normally, so the correct order is like this, so I just put on here. Next, I want to put these kind of nice things in it here. And then lastly, I'm going to put the word "you are the best" right here. So I'm preparing a gift for my friends actually. Okay, so you have the kind of layout, you understand what you want to do. Next is put them away, okay, in a clean place. Now I'm going to introduce to you, we have two solvents. We have solvent A and B. Okay, the chemical names I'm going to tell you later on in Chinese. So if you want, you can prepare. But basically, you can't prepare your own. Okay, we have lab help us to prepare. So everyone, you have two chemical, and then each one of you have a small container, glass container, and a brush. Help you to brush on it. Okay, so now the ratio is I need half and half of it. Okay, so if you look at here, so here it's about 50, and here's about same, about 50. So I mix them together. Okay, so I put them together. There's too many, so I take a bigger one. Okay, now I kind of just simply mix them together. Then you will find that after it mixes, it's kind of like the greenish color, like that. Okay, that's very nice. Now is remember the scale of your work. Depending, do you want to, the whole thing is kind of blue? I don't want it, so maybe I want to just paint an area. So hold your chemical in your hands, and then you paint it. Okay, you have to paint it several times because it takes time for the fabric to absorb the chemical. So paint it several times. Of course, you can use any. You can make any shape you want as you paint, just like the one that the Russian door. So she make the particular shapes she wants. But for me, I want it like this, kind of simple and stylish. you have to paint at least 3 layers, and you can tell for the fabric if it's dark enough, that means it's got enough solvent. If not, then you just keep adding on it, but of course don't make it like 10 layers. That's too much and you just waste it, and it takes for the second process forever. Okay, I kind of like it like this, but I will just want to make it a bit thicker. The border is kind of too small. Okay, I want a taunted edge like that, so it's kind of like a paintbrush. Yay! Good. That's what I want. So just leave it aside. Next is very simple. Just place. Now you can tell it's super wet, right? So what you have to do is better that you better to blow dry it first. So later on we're gonna set some the station on the side, but now we just moved it over here. So that's why if you have too many layers, that's going to take you forever. Okay, so if you have enough, it's good.